Welcome, everybody. I am Steven. I go by the Voice of DeFi all over the internet. You can follow me on Twitter at Voice of DeFi. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to do several AMAs over here in French Connect with French Connected for FCF and the French Fellas and all the whole ecosystem. And today we had said, hey, let's meet up and try to go over kind of a summary of everything that's going on. And I said, okay, yeah, I know there's been a lot going on, so give me a list. And he did give me a list, and the list is enormous. The list is large. So I said, wow, that's a lot. And actually looked over the list, and I was like, man, there's some of the things that I'm excited about. Because yeah, I'm not just an AMA host, especially with FCF. I'm actually a holder, and I get pretty excited about some of these things. So I'm excited about them. But how are you doing today, by the way?
I'm doing great.
Excellent. Who wouldn't do great after had a good last year? FCF did really well in 2021 and in 2022. So many big things expected. So
many bigger things happening. That's what makes me so happy.
I mean, really big things. And it makes me think like, wow, was 2021 just the appetizer?
The train is not stopping. It's getting faster and faster and faster.
For sure. So yeah, let's get right into it. So the NFTs, and I'm assuming we're talking French Fellas, because I know you had some different plans for some different utilities with NFTs. Are you looking to do a game?
Yes, we're gonna do a game for the NFTs. Currently, we have, I think, 700 mints happening. We're giving away almost 150,000 for the people who mint. I'm not quite sure if everyone are familiar with the giveaway we're doing, but every time there's 100 mints, we have $1,000 giveaway. At 1,000, we're giving $25,000. So one holder gets 10,000 and three gets 5. At 1,500 mints, we're giving 27,000. And at 2,000 mints, we're giving $50,000. And this doesn't include all the thousands and 2,000 we're giving away also. So there's a lot of money to be won by the NFTs. We still have a lot of legendary that haven't been minted. I think there is 6 left. Just by minting a legendary, you win 2,500 plus the resale value of it. Gotti still haven't been minted. No one still claimed Gotti. I'm still waiting for someone to get it so I can use him as my avatar. And now, the nice part of it, we are creating a game only for the NFT. And you're going to need an NFT to play the game. It's more like a Clash of Clans kind of game. And to those that don't own an NFT but still wants to play the game, they're going to have to rent it from an NFT holder. So someone who owns NFTs of the French Fellas will be able to rent out his NFTs so player could use them to play the game, and it's a play to earn game. So by playing the game, you'll be earning money. The NFTs, the babies, and the second collection are going to be used for an exclusive staking platform for FCF. So we're creating a lot for the NFT ecosystem. We are very busy with FCF Pay, but what is coming?
Yeah, I just have some questions. I want to I want to interrupt so I can ask some questions. So if I look at my French fella, and some of them are holding guns, some of them are holding baseball bats, that sort of thing. Will their weapons be used in this game?
They will most probably be used. Yes.
Ooh,
all the like attributes from it are going to be used in the game.
So every attribute will be used. That's great. How about the females? Will they be used in the game? I know they're so valuable just in the NFT space, but will the females be used in the game?
They will, but we still haven't came out with what we can do with the females into the game. So far, they are for the breeding purpose and getting the babies NFT that you can use for an exclusive staking with high returns only for those that own babies. But we're doing integration for the babies, the females into the game also.
Okay. Well, I'm I got lucky and got myself a female, so I'm always going to be for female French fella rights.
I think he
So
had one mint, one female, unlike Chaotic, who went with I think 50 mints and he got two females.
two
And I still
females.
haven't gotten a female, to be honest.
Wow, wow, wow. And by the way, I'm not one for one. I have
Yeah,
three.
but the
I have
female
three.
was your first, right?
Oh, female was my first. Yes, female was first, and I kept on going back to the slot machine. And you know
Yeah, I'm
what?
at like 22. Still no
Well, you
female.
know what? They're at 698 items right now, and I know when we get to 700, there's going to be another contest, another what is it, $1,000 that's going to be given away. And I'm like, gosh, do I get another one? I don't know, because I also have a female, and I need some studs for her because I can mate. So anyway, yeah. So the game, I'm not asking for a date when I ask this, but can you give me a season of release that you would like to have?
I'd like to get it done for this quarter. Obviously, I am not the person creating the game. I am very busy with FCF Pay and the ecosystem. So we are hiring someone that will create the game. I have already someone from FCF, from the FCF army, that will be overseeing the game creation with everything. So the game itself has nothing to do with me. The whole NFT collection was a side project of FCF, which was not the main project, obviously. So it wasn't my focus on it. We
Sure.
have teams working on it. So I don't want to give you a date, but I think it should not require more than the quarter.
Okay. I mean, the other thing you said that I wanted to check with is you said it's a play to earn game. Is it play to earn FCF or something else?
I we still did not decide for it. I don't like the idea of rewarding FCF for play to earn because that would add selling pressure to FCF, just
Right.
like staking pools. I'm not the biggest fan for it. They're good for exposure, but at some point, having people selling their rewards is not good.
Sure, sure. And there's other options you could choose, like stable coins and things like
Yeah,
that for rewards.
it's probably gonna be BNB or BUSD.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, both of those don't put the selling pressure that you would have on if you just
Exactly.
did FCF. So yeah, you said a lot of your time is into FCF Pay, which great, as it should be. What's going on with FCF Pay? That's where you've been spending a lot of your time. I know we're getting to the beta testing of it. How's all that going? How's the progress with FCF Pay?
So we launched the beta. I believe you have seen the website and how it works. You
Oh, for
did, right?
sure.
Yeah,
Oh
you
yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah. You shared it over on AirDrop, and I've taken a look at it.
So currently, I am doing tests on the vault. The payment gateway function properly, but I'm going to explain how the vault works. Basically, if you are a merchant and you want to accept 10 different crypto, in the vault itself, you're going to have 10 different wallets. So when we have 1,000 merchant accepting 10 different crypto themselves, that's 10,000 different wallets with funds flowing around nonstop in between everything. The merchant, they have to claim every day their funds that they got from that day. The way it works is every time there's a transaction, you don't receive the payment right away. They go into the FCF vault, and the merchant they have to go and withdraw it themselves whenever they want. So obviously, the more they wait, the less gas fee they get because it's one
Sure.
transaction. But we are still working on the test net to do that. It's working correctly, but we are trying to push it above its limit to see what is the limit. How many merchant can we launch at first with it? We don't want to open the gate and we get 1,000 merchant and something wrong happens and then we have a failed launch. We want to have a super smooth launch, so we're pushing it more than what we are expecting in terms of volume. um, I'm going to be opening in the next couple of days the full beta on FCF Pay merch website. So you'll be able to buy your merch using FCF, BNBs or whatever, but through FCF Pay. And right after that, we'll be adding partner projects that are going to be testing themselves the plugin. The plugin has been approved by WooCommerce a long time ago, but it's still not uploaded on WooCommerce when you go on the App Store to install it. So we need to go onto the LiveNet and they will put it onto their app store. Well, the plugin store, not the app store, but the plugin store on WooCommerce, which would make it super easy to just install in one click.
Okay, and whenever you're saying like the App Store, I'm assuming you're talking about like a WordPress front end for WooCommerce, where I can choose at that point to put in the FCF Pay module into it. Correct?
Exactly. It's like adding PayPal to your WordPress website.
Now, is there going to be some education? Like, I know what FCF Pay is. I understand it. And if I were setting up a shop, of course, I would want to use that. But as you know, there may be people that barely are familiar with cryptocurrency. Is there going to be some kind of education that you feel like you're going to have to do with onboarding some of the initial people? Or do you think most of the initial people will be crypto savvy in the first place already, and therefore will look to you for a solution as to a problem which they've had for a while?
Oh, absolutely. A part of educating the customers is huge into FCF Pay. It's a duty for us to educate anyone on cryptocurrency. So we have a budget for that. We have a team that will be there for technical support. We are making how to use videos. We're making a lot of educational, or I can't even spell it. What's happening? We're going,
Educational.
yeah, educational. We're going to educate everyone on cryptocurrency and the payment gateway. This is a must.
Yeah. You have to, because I think, call me crazy, but I think if everybody understood what FCF Pay was and is about to be, then it would fly through the roof. And one of the reasons why I think they don't is because not everybody that would, use a credit card understands crypto. So I mean, even it's like we always say, we're early. Everybody's, we're early. There's a reason we say that, because you realize it whenever you realize how many people that pay for things day in, day out on the internet don't understand crypto yet. So there will be a learning curve initially. And it sounds like it's good that you're willing to provide that education initially.
Just like PayPal, back in the days when PayPal got launched, my parents had no idea you could use your credit card to pay online with it. I was doing that, but they had no idea how. And now they use their credit card online. Everyone does.
It's funny that you say that about your parents, because my parents were the same way. Whenever you could first start doing a credit card transaction online, they were scared. They're like, oh, I don't want to put my credit card over, electrical line, over phone lines, basically. And I'm thinking like,
yeah, even on the phone, they didn't do it.
Right. And I remember thinking like, well, when you go to Walmart and you check out with that credit card, I hope it's going over lines there too.
And now credit cards are just stored into your cell phone. Everyone has their credit card into their cell phone. So that's the same vision we see with crypto. Crypto payment now, we are pioneers in it. But in 5-10 years, the crypto payment industry will be huge. And I think it's going to be very tight with the credit card companies.
Do you think it will come at odds with each other? Will those be like two rival enemies? Is credit card companies and crypto payment companies?
The credit card companies, I believe they will always be on top of it, because they are the big dogs, and they can adapt to it. They have the government by their side. They don't have bad press. Crypto is still taboo in most of the world, but there's some places that people are going to be using crypto way more than credit card. By example, on gambling website, why would you want to use your own credit card when you can pay with crypto? It's anonymous. So
Stay
there
off the
is
grid.
there is some places that you'd have a bigger advantage of using crypto. And then you have the people that would want to spend their crypto by avoiding capital gain tax. They will be able to spend it online anonymously. I don't say it's a good thing, but we're gonna be honest, there will be people doing that. So there is certainly a market when it comes to crypto payments. But for the mass adoption, the world is not ready yet.
I'm glad you brought that up. So, I always say with like taxes and things like that, that I wish they would just only tax me whenever I convert to fiat, right? That's what I always say. And then somebody counters that and be like, well, the government is concerned about you skipping that that step of converting to fiat and actually just spending your crypto. And, FCF Pay definitely, opens that door to be able to do so. So with yours, have you heard from lawyers or anything, any regulations saying that you have to report these purchases to any government authority?
It is not our duty to report it because people are anonymous while using FCF Pay.
Yeah.
If we hit a problem with that, we have a different plan, which would be to move out the HQ from Canada to a place that doesn't have crypto regulation. So that's not an issue. But the duty of declaring the income is not on the on the customer. It is on the merchant. Just like you right now, if you go into a store and you use cash money, paper money in the store, you don't have to tell the government that you spent $20 buying something with cash. But the merchant, him, has to declare the government and tell them I received $20 in cash. It will be the same thing for the crypto.
Interesting. Yeah. So if they don't know you don't know who the wallet is, you don't know names or social security numbers or anything. And it's up to them to be able to do that. Just like you said, just like cash, the ultimate,
Exactly.
the first private transactions was just cash. So, I'm glad to hear you say that, because I know some people have wondered that if that would be the case. And ultimately it falls on the consumer of whether they want to report that or not. And that gets to
As
be
law-abiding citizen, they should. Now, if they do it or they don't, that's not our issue. But obviously, if you have your money on, let's say, an exchange like Binance that is KYC'd, and you make a purchase through FCF Pay using your Binance wallet because it works through your exchange also. You don't need to have MetaMask or Trust Wallet. We support all wallets. We support all exchange. So if you use it through an exchange where you are KYC'd, obviously the government knows that you have spent that money, and you're still gonna get taxed on what is it called, the capital gain tax.
capital
But
gains
now,
tax. Yep.
if you have a MetaMask which doesn't have KYC or doesn't even have an email link to it, they cannot tell that it's you. But it is your duty to declare it.
Right. I think that there's a large portion of crypto people that are willing to pay their fair share of taxes. They just want, it to be very easy to understand laws and that sort of thing. So this is not a way to skirt paying taxes or anything like that. So I'm glad to hear you say that. So looking over the list that you and I did, I think I've went out a little bit of order. You started to say some things that a little different order. So I'm going to ask a little bit different here. Can you give me maybe a summary of the last month of December or so of what all has went down with just the whole ecosystem, French Fellas, French Connected? Can you give me just kind of a summary of everything that's happened so we can see how we got to here?
So December, we were still consolidating from the last run up. We had an enormous run up. So that means a long consolidation after that. So we're pushing on the ecosystem. We're working overtime on FCF Pay. We're working overtime on FCF World Connect. We're working on several other platforms that we are creating. We created the NFT. The team grew bigger. And then the holidays came. Obviously, during the holidays, we're not gonna say it's a dead season, but it's a quiet season. People have less money to invest. People are busy. People are less on their phone. And we had one whale who bought for, I think, $850,000 during the run up, most
Wow.
of it at all time high. And he decided to start selling his FCF to buy another token that is practically a rug pull. And he has been selling all his FCF, and it took him, I think, three weeks to sell everything, and he lost over $500,000 doing so to just
Oh,
buy another token. I'm not gonna mention the token, but most of the community know what token it is. And if you look at it today, it has like a volume of $10,000 with no transaction. So I have no idea what that person was doing, and who
oh,
is capable of just burning over 500,000 plus whatever he's gonna lose on that new token. But he was pushing us down. We finally got rid of him just in time for FCF Pay. And I was super excited, and I wanted him to be out before FCF Pay beta launch. And he was. I think he got out like 2 days before that. So we opened the throttle on marketing on FCF Pay. We announced that giveaway of every time you buy a one BNB worth of FCF, you get a raffle ticket. And at the end of the week, we're going to be giving away $5,000 to a random person from the raffle. And
That's
we
great.
launched, and we had a run up to 25 million in 2 days. We went from 10 to 25. The community was insane, was buying every dip from that well. The well would push us down to 5 million, we'd bounce back to 12 million in like 30 minutes. The community was buying the dip from the other well with no problem. So we launched FCF Pay, and we had another well now that is doing almost the same. I don't know if it's gonna deplete everything or not, but he's been adding sell pressure since the 25 millions. That well was the first well FCF ever had. You've been around since the early days. It's him
Yep.
that brought us from 300,000 market cap to 1 million. He was the one buying 20,000, 30,000 back then, nonstop, and helped with FCF at first. So we're not mad or anything about it. It's part of the game. We were happy when he was buying in at first.
Right.
I knew the day of the reckoning would happen because he had such an enormous bag from back then, but the timing of it was a bit a disappointment.
A bit disappointing.
Yeah.
You know, I
Because
think
it
about that
happened at
every
once.
time. Every time I'm with a project and they're relatively new and you're kind of just looking for buys and you want them so bad, but then all of a sudden someone comes in with a mammoth buy and you're happy. Don't get me wrong. You're happy when you see those mammoth buys in those first few days, but just kind of like you said, you're always like, huh, we're going to pay for that someday. It's happy right now, but they may just liquidate at some point. And, you know, luckily for you guys, in that meantime, you've created a really good community. I mean, really, this is a fantastic community. And so you've made it to where you can withstand. I mean, there was probably a time when you were very, very early on that, you know, a whale could have crushed you. But now you've got it to where when a whale liquidates, the rest of your community kind of rubs their hands together and says, you know, yes, this is our chance to buy in a little cheaper. And yeah, so far your community, I feel like, has really risen to the task every time a whale gets out.
Exactly. I think we gained over 2,000 holders since that well started selling. We grow
Wow.
so big since we keep on growing every day. So yes, it hurts to see it today, to see a well selling, but in a year it won't matter. And on the other hand, it's even better to get rid of them now than them having millions and millions of dollars worth of FCF in a year and being able to take us from, let's say, 1 billion market cap to 50 million in a matter of a week or days, even. So, yes, it hurts to see them selling now, but it's a good thing.
And like you
The
said,
less,
it's
yeah,
part of the game.
the less big wallets we have and the more smaller wallets we have, the more stable we get.
For sure, for sure. And you're making your way to that. And you want those small wallets. I mean, over 13,000 wallets now you have. That's pretty good. And whenever FCF Pay can really take off like I think it can, I think moves like that will, I mean, it'll just be maybe even more commonplace. I mean, think about some of the bigger tokens, you know, as they really rise up, like say, you know, you heard that crazy Shiba story where somebody put in $8,000 that ended up being like, you know, 5.3 billion. I couldn't hold something till 5.3 billion. Everybody's got their number that they would say, okay.
There's two
you know,
ways you could. There's only two ways.
what's that?
Actually, there's three of them. One, you lost your wallet.
Okay. Yeah.
The second one, you're in jail.
Yes.
And the third one, you died.
Yep. That's it. Because besides that, seeing, you know, it got to 5.3 million. It might have even got higher than that. Seeing it go to 1 billion and then 2 billion and then 3 billion. How many of us would just sit there and look at it? And not many. And like you said, I'm sure the guy that did that, although that money has moved since then, so it's not a lost wallet. But anyway, point is everybody's got a number. I understand people are going to come into the market. They're going to come out of the market. It's just, you need a community to be able to kind of, prop that up a little bit. And that's what you've got. We've seen that the communities came in and rallied and taken advantage of a lower price, because that's what trading is, right? We try to buy things at low prices that we think are going to rise. And so that's what everybody's done and did a really good job with it. So that's what you've done over the last month. And we've talked a little bit about the current situation and all the promos that you have going on right now. But you've had a little bit more going on than that right now, as you're working with kind of a lending company for FCF Pay, correct?
Well, one of the community member has a multi-lending company. They do waterfall lending on e-commerces. And we had a meeting, I think, 2 days ago, and it went very well. We want to cross-pollinate the two platforms together, which means we would put them on FCF Pay, and they would put FCF Pay on their platform. They would use FCF Pay as like a tool to sell their product, and us, we would get instant exposure to their network. And they have over 500 e-commerces and brick and mortar stores linked to it.
Interesting. So this could be one of the first major partners of FCF Pay then, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's how I'm hearing this, is because, I mean, I'm sure you might get, the FCF, your merch store that'll have FCF Pay baked in. I would think that just makes sense. But like a waterfall lending company, that's pretty big, because I know that people may want to be on there. So people will be able to use this waterfall lending company and then be able to do the payment in FCF Pay, which will ultimately mean do the payment in any crypto they want.
Absolutely. Whatever the merchant accept as crypto, they will be able to do it, and they will be able to take loans with that company and would get an enormous exposure to their already established company. So yes, it's the first big company that FCF Pay will be partnering with. And this would happen quickly at launch. We already met with the team. We just have to confirm a couple of stuff before doing it, but I am pretty confident that it's happening. Both parties are very excited about it. The two of us are going to be able to get huge exposure on it, because the FCF arm is over 13,000 holders. So just having your logo displayed somewhere with FCF Pay brings a lot of exposure to your company. So we're both
imagine
winning.
that. A lot of people will say, somebody that owns like, billions in stock or something, they don't liquidate that stock. They just borrow against it. And that's how they never pay capital gains tax. That's how, somebody like Zuckerberg or someone like that can live lavishly without selling all their stock that they own. They borrow against it. Would you be able to use this waterfall? Let's say you're a absolute FCF whale, right? Would you be able to borrow against that with this waterfall lending method by being able to pay with FCF, and then you'll get some kind of loan back to you? Would you be able to almost have some kind of liquid cash flow using this method?
We haven't discussed that with that company, because they do fiat lending, and I don't know
Sure.
what their limit is. I don't think they do mortgage or super yacht financing. But maybe we could do like an integration of FCF Pay with FCF loans, so people could do loans through FCF Pay.
Well, even if it was fiat, it still makes sense, because
absolutely, but this won't happen at launch. This is a
Sure,
big project and has to be added in version 3, version 4, and down the road. It's a great addition, but just launching that plus FCF Pay at the same day, that's huge.
Yeah. I'm telling you, the more I talk about FCF Pay, the more I get excited about it, because you mentioned PayPal earlier. If you would have told me about PayPal and what it is at the time, I might have said, oh yeah, that sounds neat, but probably wouldn't have understood the gravity of it. Now I'm a little older and I feel like I understand, the way internet business works. And, now we've got crypto, and I feel like this time I'm like, okay, now I see the utility of internet payments. But now, we're taking it to a decentralized format. It's just, this is really big. And I hope that people listen to these AMAs or just learn about FCF just in general, because these things could really change the way we buy things over the net. So let's talk about a few other things. Are there any exchanges you're looking at to get into? I know you've went into a few major exchanges, but is there any other exchanges you're looking to get into?
I got my eyes on Gate.io and KuCoin. Obviously, getting listed on them is super prestigious, and it doesn't work the same way that it works with other exchanges that we did list. We are working towards it. Obviously, we need more holders. I assume around 20,000 and a bigger volume, but we are in the right direction at the moment to be able to get listed on one of them by the next couple of months. So that's the two biggest centralized exchange I am looking for. I'm not interested into any other kind of exchanges, centralized exchange than those two. But yesterday I met with the FCF, not the FCF, sorry, the SafeMoon team for the SafeMoon exchange, and they presented me their offer on getting listed FCF on the SafeMoon exchange and getting shout out from the SafeMoon Twitter and all their platform and announcing a partnership and all that. I am still thinking about it. They gave me an offer. I gave them a counter offer, and we are making sure that, because when you go on SafeMoon on PooCoin, you can see that their LP, you can see the SafeMoon swap on the LP. But I was looking at other project listed by SafeMoon swap, and we don't see SafeMoon swap as an LP displayed on it. So this is something that I want to be sure that it is apparent before we do it, because obviously, if it doesn't show on PooCoin LPs, we don't see the transaction. And if we don't see the transaction, it's only another decentralized exchange that will be sucking in our price, because our contract would be selling for the dividends on PancakeSwap, but we won't see the buys coming in. So I want to make sure that, yeah. So I want to make
makes
sure
complete sense.
I want to make sure that we'll be able to see all the transaction on PooCoin just like PancakeSwap, so it comes in into the same price action, brings in the same, brings volume to the main platform that FCF is listed on. And if they get that fixed, they are looking into it now after the call we had yesterday, and they said that they will fix it. If it does happen, I don't see why I would not continue with them. Obviously, we'd have to provide an LP, would have to provide a lot of stuff, but this is a possibility that it happens.
Well, I mean, SafeMoon being a huge project, I can't believe nobody would have had this problem or brought up this issue to them before that they've approached.
Well, I was shocked yesterday because I asked them how many tokens are listed on their SafeMoon wallet and SafeMoon swap, and I was a bit shocked with the amount of tokens listed on it. They had less than 8 tokens, I believe.
8? Just 8?
Yeah,
like
that's what
6,
they told
7,
me
8?
yesterday. And
Wow.
2 of them were stable coins. So I'm like, okay, without stable coins, what do you have listed? And they showed me one that they showed me was Hodoi. That's the latest token they listed, hodoi.com. And that's how I saw that they don't have LP displayed of SafeMoon Swap on PooCoin. And even the salesman, and I forgot what's his name, the guy that's named the Hound on
The
the
Hound.
SafeMoon team. Yeah, the Hound, the new dev that joined them a couple of months ago. I don't really follow SafeMoon politics anymore, but I forgot his name. I can't believe I talked with him for an hour yesterday.
Well, either way, I
Ryan,
don't know his
Ryan,
name. Yeah, Ryan. Okay.
Ryan. Yeah. So Ryan, who's the lead over there, got shocked also to see that it's not getting displayed. So they're looking into it to know why PooCoin is not displaying it to any
Okay, so
other
maybe
token
this
than
is
SafeMoon.
if he was shocked, somebody in the Telegram chat says the FUD Hound is his name, which that's a great name if that's the case. But so maybe this is new to them or a problem that it sounds like they're looking to fix it. It's not just a thing that's just like, oh yeah, this is the way it is.
They are looking to fix it. Yes.
Okay, good. Well, I mean, that would be good if FCF can get on there. Is there anything else that FCF is wanting to do? Particularly with FCF Pay?
So as I was discussing with them the listing, They wanted to know what the project was about. They wanted like a more detailed explanation from us. So I explained them FCF Pay, and they got super interested into FCF Pay. And
I'll
they
bet.
want, yeah, and then explained them that we have that Twitter contest about FCF Pay, what token is getting listed on FCF Pay first, and the competition was between Baby Dogecoin, Fag, and SafeMoon, and they want to get listed on it, and they will get listed on it because the SafeMoon army is taking over that pool, and it's not even close. And they told me, get it launched, list us, and when we see that it is working, we're gonna do a cross pollination promotion for you. We're gonna show everyone that now FCF Pay supports SafeMoon and they want to use it
So
also.
if I'm a SafeMoon holder, if I own a decent amount of SafeMoon, how will this affect me that SafeMoon is integrating with FCF? And maybe I should ask also, I'm an FCF holder. How does this affect me? Can I buy? Yeah, I guess I'm trying to understand how that works, that SafeMoon wants to be listed on FCF Pay.
So SafeMoon, I was telling them because of the tokenomic, I don't think people are going to be using SafeMoon as a currency. And they corrected me. Like I said earlier, I stopped following SafeMoon a long time ago. I am strictly focused into FCF. So they
Sure.
told me that when you hold SafeMoon on their SafeMoon wallet, the tokenomic for transfers are only 2%, which means it is still decent for an online transaction if you are a diehard fan of SafeMoon. 2% is not bad compared to 10%. So they will be able to use SafeMoon as a currency. And like they were telling me yesterday, SafeMoon, they want the token to be used as a currency. So this allows them to become a currency and get accepted into all the e-commerces owned by SafeMoon investors and also into the physical stores that people own SafeMoon with also. Because I forgot to mention you that before. We promised FCF Army that we would do the payment gateway for online, and then we would be doing the physical payment gateway. But I was lying because I was working on the physical payment gateway at the same time also, and we got it up and running almost a year before the roadmap. So with FCF Pay, you'll be able to install it into your brick and mortar stores also and have it on your e-commerce also. So that's a big exposure for SafeMoon to be accepting all around their network, their own token.
So I've got to ask a question. You said you could be in a brick and mortar, which would be amazing. How would that work? How would it be something on my phone that I would use to pay with
It,
FCF Pay at a brick and mortar?
it could be on your phone or it could be on a tablet. Obviously, the best thing would be for the store owner to have a tablet and have FCF Pay running on it and doing the invoices and getting paid directly from the customer's telephone onto the tablet.
Man, if we already talked about taxes and we don't need to get back into it, but if that became prevalent, the tax man would have a say, would want to say in that.
Of
Which,
course,
hey,
you would. We're expecting them.
yeah, and here's the thing. I welcome that happening because if that happens, FCF is if the government starts caring, that means this thing is way successful for
You
them
know the
to
amount of
innovate.
marketing we'd be getting if we get to the news for that?
That's right. Yeah, if you get on some CNN or something like that of, FCF Pay is now being used to circumvent, but if you're right. It'd be millions of dollars in free marketing.
People laundering money through FCF Pay. People would jump on it right away.
Right. It'd be ultimate. And then, yeah, you would have, obviously that would be a headache in and of itself, but the exposure would be pretty amazing. And that would mean FCF is doing well. And then you find out how to make things work regulatory wise and everything like that. So that's pretty good that SafeMoon wants to be listed on FCF Pay. Answer me this. I'm not sure I understand this quite with FCF Pay. I know that you'll be able to pay with any cryptocurrency, but you're talking about putting, SafeMoon onto it as one of the first ones. Will it take time to have any put on there, to have any crypto put onto FCF Pay? What would the onboarding process be like?
So I'm gonna tell you exactly which token I have decided to put into FCF Pay at first, and then I'll
Okay.
explain you how it works. So we can support any BEP20 token or ERC or Polygon or whatever, but we're gonna focus with the BEP20 tokens at first, and maybe have one ERC20, which would be Shiba Inu. I don't think people will want to be using Ethereum network to do transaction unless they're big
No.
transaction, but the exposure we could get from people saying, "Oh, Shiba Inu is on FCF Pay," is huge. So we're gonna most probably do it. We're gonna have stable coins for the launch on it. We're gonna have Litecoin, XRP, Stellar Lumens, and BNB plus the BEP20 and BSC. On the BEP20, we're gonna list SafeMoon on it at launch. We're gonna be listing Baby Dogecoin or any big token that is set in stone and is legit and has a big army behind it will be listed on it. Obviously, if a new token starts and asks us to list them on it, it's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna spend days just listing tokens that no one cares about. There's gonna be a listing fee, obviously, for any other token that would want to get listed on it.
Well, that's kind of what I was getting to is, yeah, will there be a listing fee? Let's say I start a token and I come to you and say, I want to be on FCF Pay. And you say, no, 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 you've got 500 holders. I'm not going to waste my time with that. And I say, okay, okay. And then I come back, and I've got it's successful now and it's got 10,000 holders. And at some point, what's your criteria where you're like, okay, I'll start entertaining, listening to you. And then at that point, do you have an onboarding amount? Do you say, okay, I need 10,000 US dollars worth to list you? Or I don't know. What's your what's the key to get into the gate?
I didn't decide yet on how much we're gonna be charging them, but obviously there's gonna be a charging fee of at least $1,000, and those charging fees are the reason why we can give so much back to the community with our ecosystem, because it costs a lot of money to get FCF Pay up and running. Every transaction that goes through it costs money. Every time we add a token, we have to support the token. So if we add 5 different tokens and all the merchant wants to use that, that's a lot of new wallets that gets created into the vault. And the bigger the vault gets, the bigger the server has to be, the bigger the bills. But having a listing fee would eliminate all the tokens that are not serious and would be able to provide the salaries that we have to pay for the people working on FCF Pay full time.
Well, and the fact of the matter is, let's say I'm a whale in a token that's not listed and is not going to be listed. Okay. Uh, Anybody that's savvy in crypto can go to their favorite swap site and swap it out for something that is listed, right? And then they could use that with FCF Pay.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You can just
that would
swap.
seem to be the easiest.
Let's say you own something that is not supported, or even the merchant, because the merchant themselves they have to accept it. So we could list any token we want, but if the merchant they don't care about that token, there won't be any transactions. So at the
Right,
end of the
right, right.
day, you have to pay with what the merchant accepts. And if you don't own any of those tokens, you can just swap and use it.
The ability to swap, that's something that isn't in the centralized finance world. And let me give you an example. If I go to a certain restaurant that I like and I hand them a Discover card, they say, I'm sorry, sir, we don't take Discover. And I go, okay. And I pull out my Visa, right? And then they take that.
Exactly.
But if I don't have a Visa, then I'm just out of luck. There's no way I can like exchange the credit that I've got with Discover and put it into something else. But with FCF Pay, it sounds like whatever you have, if you have the ability to swap, which there's a lot of projects have swap features, and maybe FCF Pay will have it just integrated into it at some point if you wanted to. If you get whatever you have that's not supported, you swap it to BNB or SafeMoon or whatever you want to swap it to, and then move it on over. And then now you can use FCF Pay. So it sounds to me like no matter what you have, you could pay with it if you wanted to.
Exactly.
Great, great, great.
So it's easy.
So
You can easily use it. Even if you don't have a coin, you can use it. There's no problem.
right, for sure. Last time you did an AMA, I think I snuck into here on the one of the most recent ones you did right at the end. I had another AMA, or I would have joined in earlier. But you've been talking for a while about a NASDAQ company that you've been working with, kind of an unnamed company that you've been working with. Is there any updates on that? I know you had the legal team looking over it last time.
So we got the contract. I sent it to the legal team. They went into holidays and they came back on January 2nd. I requested them a rush service. I even told them, do not prepare me a document. Just when it's ready, call me and tell me exactly what needs to be fixed, because I'm 100% certain that there is stuff that will have to be fixed. Don't send me an official document with 100 pages and spend weeks writing it. Just
Right.
call me and tell me. I was hoping that they would call me before the AMA so I could give an update, but they still haven't. It's currently 2:46 p.m. here in the Eastern time zone, so I'm still waiting. They told me that they would do that before Friday, so I should get a call from my attorney team today.
And they're just looking over this offer from the NASDAQ listed company and making sure there's no gotchas in it for FCF, making sure that everything is copacetic.
It's not a question of making sure; it's a question of finding them, because I am sure that there is.
Sure. That's
So I want them to find me all the small loopholes, all the problem that we can have short term, mid term, and long term. Because I'm expecting that long term there might be a huge weight on our shoulders, and I want to avoid that. So I want to make sure that we don't have any problem with them after. I don't want to have to report to a corporate every time we want to make a change, every time we want to make a partnership, every time we want to make an announcement. This will be too heavy on us. We cannot work that way. So this is more the stuff that concerns me.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You know, I remember talking several AMAs ago with you that it was very important to you that dividends were still a part. You know, the reflections were still a part, even if you signed these deals with these other major companies. Is that still able to be the case?
Yes, the dividend they stay, but they want to work out on the percentage, and they would want to buy in FCF so they can earn the dividends too.
Well, that's a good thing, right?
But
If
you
that,
remember in the early days, they made me an offer in the early days, and it was a signing bonus. They wanted to hire me, so it went from hiring to partnering.
they just wanted you to build it and make it integrated into their product instead of it being your product, which
Exactly. And
good for
they
you.
offered me a signing bonus. I was not interested at all with the offer. And this was our first meeting actually.
Man, that's good for you to it's hard to do that sometimes, to look at an offer and say thanks but no thanks. So good for you, and good for you to be a leader of a community here, because you have a whole community here that they don't want to, head up with somebody else that you're a part of a team of. They want to head up a team that you're the leader of the team of. And yeah, good for you for being able to do that and looking out for what's best for the holders. Well, we've covered quite a bit today. We covered, what you've done over the last month. We covered the French Fellas and how well it's done. We touched a little bit on the game that you want to work out with, that you'd like to have come out sometime, even in the first quarter. I hope that's a fast timeline. So I hope that's the case. But even if it isn't, even if it was quarter two, I would still be excited to play with my French Fellas. And then you'll probably within the next 24 hours get 700 French Fellas sold, and you'll have another giveaway on there. So a lot of going on there. Then we talked about FCF and its beta testing and all that's happening in the launch that will be coming up. Then the waterfall lending company we discussed. And then just now all the goings on with SafeMoon and how big this can be. While we were talking here in the chat, someone said like it just dawned on them how huge this thing could be. And some of these coins getting listed like SafeMoon on FCF Pay will be enormous. The exposure that'll come to FCF at that point will be huge. So I guess
Just made a tweet just to know how big it gets. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh no, go ahead.
But just so people know how big it gets, we made a tweet from the FCF Pay Twitter.
Right.
I'm pulling it out so I could get the exact numbers. I don't want to give random numbers. We made a poll to know which token we should list first, and we have thousands of comments. And we gained, I think, since we made that poll, over 300 holders. We have 1.1 thousand comments, 730 shares, and 957 likes just on the poll we made to asking which token we should list. Tag which one you want. It's either SafeMoon, Fag, or Baby Dogecoin. And we got 1.1k comments. And if I pull out the analytics, we got 63,000 impression and 882 profile visits coming from one tweet. And this is only a poll asking people what we should list. After
And
that, people are going to be tagging us and harassing us just like they do with any other exchange, asking us to list one token.
yeah, I think you may have people fighting, just fighting over each other themselves just to get to you, much like people will do with an exchange right now. And one thing I want to say about SafeMoon is you're talking about how many their sheer numbers are, but also at the top of SafeMoon, if I looked at like the top 100 holders of SafeMoon, there's a lot of dollars in that project too.
We're going to get their exposure for free. That's
Right.
why we want to be listing big tokens like SafeMoon, Baby Dogecoin, Fag, Shiba Inu, any big project that have people following them. We're gonna be listing them and announcing it. Obviously, we're not just gonna be listing it and let's go. We're gonna do the same way that we're doing with SafeMoon now, making polls, meeting with the team, and pushing it and juicing out all the exposure that we can.
Awesome. Well, I mean, whoever isn't excited about all this is needs to get their heart checked. So you want to take some questions? You want to see if anybody in the audience has anything they
I
want
just
to
want to
ask?
mention something that we're
Okay.
adding a feature that we're gonna add on FCF Pay also. We're gonna start offering through our vault the FCF escrow, meaning we're going to be a third party holding through our vault funds between transaction of crypto. Because now when you deal with crypto with a marketer or anyone, it's a question of trust. One of them doesn't trust the other. Everyone got hacked so much, they got
Right.
scammed so much, ripped off, that no one wants to deal with people. I get at least 50 messages a day of people offering me services that are scams, and they just want to get a prepayment and disappear. We're doing an escrow now, and for the escrow, the funds they get deposited in it, plus a description of the task. And once it's completed, the two parties have to approve the transaction, like a multi-signature, and the person receives its payment.
I like that idea. And you're right. There's no trust anymore because too many scam people. I mean, just since I've been here talking to you, I've had like 3 scams that tried to DM me here and here. So yeah, nobody trusts anybody. And whenever money has to be changed hands for, whatever service that you're looking for, nobody trusts. And an escrow would kind of help with that. So how does FCF work with
Especially
that?
for exchanges. When I was listing on exchanges, we listed on 4 different exchanges. The amount of homework I had to do so we don't get scammed. I've seen so many projects thinking that they're dealing with L Bank and they end up sending listing fees and tokens to a scammer that was acting like an employee, and they would crash their whole project just by selling everything they received. I get at least 20 reps from exchanges every day trying to scam me around.
So let's just use L Bank for example. Let's say the real L Bank wanted to use you for escrow to be able to kind of save every party. How would that work? Would a token that wanted to be listed on L Bank, um, you know, put it into escrow in FCF Pay escrow? They'd put their tokens and everything into FCF Pay escrow, and then whenever everything was done, it would then get released to L Bank in that example.
For example, the listing fees for LBAC, I believe I paid 60,000 for it, and this was pre-listing. and I paid like 2 weeks before getting listed. So
So the
imagine
60,000 would stay
the
in
60,000
escrow.
and the escrow. And once it gets listed, the two parties they have to approve it, and the money gets released to L Bank. If one of the two parties doesn't approve it, you have a human that reviews the file. And obviously, if the job description says this project will be listed on L Bank on that date, he will just have to go and verify, okay, it's listed, and the funds they get unlocked to the to L Bank. So it protects the person paying and the person receiving the money.
And then my next question is, how does this help? Is there a service fee for this? How's this helping
There
the
is.
FCF?
There is
Okay,
always service fees on
there we go.
anything from the platform, and the ecosystem fees they go into anything that we create.
That's the right answer, and that'd be an easy marketing and advertising angle of, hey, put in $60,000. That's a big thing. Put in, $65,000 or whatever your list, whatever the fee would be, and you can know it's going to go to the right person, and you can know that whatever you're dealing with isn't just going to run off with it. So, I think that's a needed thing. And me, if I'm a token owner, I feel better using that escrow and paying a little bit extra, knowing that I don't have to release it from escrow until what says is going to be done actually is done.
Absolutely. And if you own FCF, the fees are less. So this, for someone that use a lot of the escrow or FCF Pay or anything, owning FCF for him is an advantage.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's a really neat one. Every time I talk to you, you have continued to upgrade what your current offerings were. At first it was FCF, and FCF Pay kind of grew, and then all of a sudden, French Fellas was kind of call it a side project while FCF Pay was being built. Now you're looking at so many other things where you're talking different exchanges. It's just, I don't know. Every time we talk, it seems like the ecosystem is growing, and I'm willing to bet next time I talk to you, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be that you've continued to grow even past this, and that's one of the things I really like about this project is it continues to reinvent itself, but never forgetting about the original invention. If that makes any sense, you continue to do what you say right there from the start. So yeah, you want to take any questions from the rest of the group to see if anybody's got any little extra questions they want to ask?
Yes, of course. We've been running for an hour now, so obviously we can't take 1 hour of questions, but let's do some Q and A's.
Yeah. Anybody have any question here?
I was gonna ask you to do that sound. It's always like that. When you tell them you can go ask a question, no one speaks, and then someone will ask one question, and everyone will
And
start
then,
interrupting each other.
well, the other thing I find when I ask questions, I'll ask for questions and I'll get nothing, and then I'll start doing my sign off. Did we have somebody? I thought I heard somebody.
And you still waiting on me?
What's up? Did you have a question? I don't think we did. But the other way I get a lot of questions is that I start doing my sign off. I start saying like, well, it's been good talking to everybody, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, that's whenever people start talking. So before we do sign off, I do want to give another opportunity. Does anybody have any question here? You got French Connected, the CEO of FCF, and can answer any question. Look at this transparency, by the way, where he comes on here in AMAs often, not just once every quarter, comes in here often. And yeah, if you've got something you want to ask, hey, pass me a wave sour. That's an awesome name. Do you have a question?
Yeah, all right. So when they release FCF Pay, is also the in-store going to be released at the same time?
It's gonna be released a couple of weeks after. I don't want to have to deal with online and physical at the same time. It's not a question of is it ready. It's a question of we want to focus on the e-commerce first.
Good question.
I think someone is washing his dishes on.
I was going to ask the same thing. Is it Tyler Priest? Did you have a question?
Yeah, I've got a question over here. is any of the intellectual property like protected? Do you have any type of patents or anything? Like how easily could somebody take this idea or code and then try to replicate it in terms of competition?
The thing about copyright on FCF Pay, it's not easily doable, and it's not worth it. Anyone can just go and copy FCF Pay. There's no problem with that. You can go and you can copy PayPal if you want, and you call it something else. You can go and you can copy Stripe if you want, and call it something else. The brand itself cannot be copied, but the product, it's a free market. Everyone can make a similar product. You can go and make a car that looks like a Mercedes-Benz, but you cannot copy the logo of it. And this is what we protect. It's our branding.
Well, it's
So I
also
have
the
a
connections that you've made.
The connection, the network, and all that. Yes, they cannot copy that, but anyone could go. Well, anyone with the funds and the time could go and make an online payment for crypto. But who's gonna use it?
Did you have a follow up to that answer?
Yeah, I mean,
Bravo?
so having like a major company like the one you were talking about with exchanging on the NASDAQ exchange would probably be pretty beneficial to accelerate that growth and get this thing like mainstream before others do try to eventually rip it off, which they will.
Yes, of course, it would give us a speed boost. But like I said, we want to make sure that the speed boost is not followed by roadblocks later on. You cannot sacrifice your future for the present either. Of course, the community, they would want the deal to happen and have a quick 50x happening on the charts. But what's next?
Yeah, I agree. You know, we get our sense of time in crypto is just off a little bit. I mean, how long have you been around? 6 months? Not even that. And to think these next 6 months, if I say till like June or July of 2022, so much is going to be accomplished by then, which will basically mean you'll have done this all in about a year. That's pretty fast as far as business can be concerned from basically a startup. And so I agree. You want things to go fast because just like Bravo just said, this will be tried to be replicated. And you just hope that by the time somebody's savvy enough to replicate it, that FCF has the ball rolling down the hill so fast at that point that it can't be stopped.
And the thing you have to keep in mind, we are currently over 13,000 users on FCF Pay. So even if another company would go and want to make a gateway, and PayPal is doing a payment gateway for crypto also, but they're accepting like 3 different crypto, which are BTC, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Cash, I think, stuff like that. They will still do it. You're going to have crypto.com that will be accepting stuff. You have BitPay that do accept some crypto. We're not the only one that's doing that. What we're doing is an easy, user-friendly usage for FCF Pay, accepting all crypto, having plugin all over the place, plus a physical payment gateway. And we have a huge following behind FCF Pay. There's a lot of people that want to use it, and we have a lot of people that will want to install it. If I was to make FCF Pay without having actually FCF backing it and the community, it would be super difficult to get customers for it. How do I market that?
Yeah,
and that's
that would
the
be difficult.
advantage we have on the market.
Thanks, Bravo, for that question. I think that was a great question.
Yeah, and just real quick too, are you still able to say that this is going to be the first crypto payment gateway on the market? I mean, you mentioned a couple others like BitPay and Crypto.com. What's their time frames? Are you following any of that?
I don't know what's their time frame. I have no idea. They do accept some crypto. They have a process that they go through their cards and stuff like that. The fees are high. We're gonna be the first of its kind, yes. Are we gonna be the first? I have no idea if there's someone in Japan creating one right now. But is he going to be on top of the market? I don't know. I am very confident that us at FCF, we're gonna be on top of the game, and people are gonna be behind us trying to copy what we do. And it's not gonna be a distraction. We don't care about who's doing what. We care about what we are doing.
You know, I think you may be first for sure with something like SafeMoon. You know, one of these big coins like this, you know, you can't go out and spend those, you know, in the open market right now easily. And so I think you may be the first of that. I know there's others that try to do it with the majors, with Bitcoin or Ethereum and that sort of thing. But I think FCF Pay is one of the first to do it in what you might call altcoins. And sure, SafeMoon is an altcoin, but and it's a big one. And there's some big whales that with a lot of dollars, you know, in there. So I think this could be really big. If you'll look at like Tesla, whenever they started saying, we're going to think about taking Doge for our cars, they're first going to do it with their merchant, you know, their merch store. They're going to take Doge for it. And all of a sudden that was really a big news story that, oh my gosh, you know, Tesla's going to start taking Doge. Well, now with FCF Pay, there's a lot of different companies that could start taking something, you know, some crypto. And this will be a first for a lot of companies. So what once was a big story that Tesla is going to take crypto, my guess in 5 years or so, it'll be ho hum, another store is taking crypto for payments, because I think things like FCF Pay will be commonplace. And FCF Pay is one of the first to the market to be able to do this with, like you said, numerous different coins are a possibility, not just the top 3 on CoinMarketCap.
That's a good answer.
Any other questions? I see
Okay,
Pass Me a Wave
FCF
Sour.
Pay
You
is
unmuted your mic for a
anonymous,
moment
right?
again.
Oh yes, and we are anonymous on FCF Pay. It's
So
not like PayPal that you have to register and get
exactly in
KYC,
crypto.
and they can hold your funds for months because they suspect you of farting in the wind. As much as I know, they hold funds from left and right. We don't do that stuff, even though our fee is way cheaper than their fees.
So I've got a weird question that I just thought of. So I go to a physical store. They sell clothes, okay? And I buy a shirt, and looks great. I'll use FCF Pay to buy it. I go home, and it doesn't fit. I need to take it back. I need to return it. Now, if it's a credit card, if there is cash, I would know what the process is. And we all know crypto, there's no takebacks. So how is this happen? If I'm a merchant, how do I handle this?
He can either pay you back with cash or return you in crypto, whatever they decide. Obviously, if they start giving you in cash, people are gonna start juicing out the system. They would go buy
Right.
stuff and refunding in cash, but that's up on the merchant.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of bigger stores that had gift cards would probably give it to you in gift cards. And you're right. That
That
would
too.
be some people's way of cashing out without going to fiat.
Exactly. But then
Very,
again,
very interesting.
for us, that's good. It's a transaction. For the stores, that's their problem.
You know, a lot of this is ends up just being good for the FCF holder. It's up to anybody else to come up with the logistics of some of that, like the merchant or the buyer, which we may be that too. All right. Well, before we wrap up, any other questions you want to ask to French Connected here? He's here to answer maybe 1 or 2 questions, and then we can get going.
Yeah, I got a question.
What's up, Jaded?
So obviously cryptocurrencies made everyone millionaires, and I know a lot of people in our chat are in the real estate market. Is there any thoughts to having FCF Pay be able to be used to buy our McMansions on launch?
To be able to buy what? Sorry, I did not hear.
To buy our mansions on launch, our homes.
Oh yeah, you could. Maybe you could use FCF Pay to buy Donald Trump X house that he's selling.
There you go.
I don't know if
I don't know how that would work.
I don't know if we have a dog going crazy. Sorry, guys.
Keep quiet, Gotti.
It's not Gotti. It's not even Gotti. Gotti is somewhere upstairs.
Will there be a limit? That mansion question makes me think, will there be a limit to how high a one transaction can be?
Well, the bigger, the better for us, because the better the fee. But we don't want to alarm governments and start thinking that FCF Pay is for money laundering either. And that is the only issue that we want to see with big transactions.
Gotcha. Well, I only ask because, so used to the centralized finance world. And, whenever you have a credit card, it has a limit. It's a 5,000, 10,000, 25,000,
Yeah, but that's
whatever
on
your
credit.
limit is. Right. Yeah. They're letting you borrow the money. This is money that you have. And I guess you're saying if you've got it, you can spend it, right?
Exactly. We're not offering any credit, so it doesn't matter. But like I said earlier, the bigger the better. More fees.
Well, I'm all for the mansion selling on it. I like Jaded's
I don't know
idea.
about buying real estate with crypto. I own a lot of real estate, and I don't think I would ever buy real estate using crypto. That could be a big issue depending on where you live. If
For
you're
sure.
not taking a mortgage, of course, if you're gonna pay it full crypto, it's like paying it full cash. The headache behind it will come, and I would not want to mix the headache of buying a house with crypto.
For sure.
The amount of yearly audits that you will have, and you're gonna have to send your accountant to explain how come you afforded a $10 million house using Bitcoin. That is not something I would want to deal with.
You have a $10 million house, but your income shows that you make about, 12,000 a year. How does that work? Got in safe
Exactly.
moving early, bro. Yeah, no. All right. That's a great question, Jaded, by the way. Yeah, got me thinking a little bit about other things. So, any other questions before we wrap up?
I got one for you, French.
Yeah, buddy, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm in Disneyland with my family, so if it's a little loud, forgive me.
Oh, no
My
problem.
wife's gonna kill me because I'm on this at Disneyland. Can FCF Pay be integrated into like payroll services? So if an employee wanted to be paid in part fiat and part crypto, is that something that would be able to happen?
We had that discussion. We want to do it. It's not going to be done right away, but it is something that we want to do, of course. Having payrolls made through FCF Pay and having people actually using it for their bi-weekly payrolls, that is something huge, because currently now you have to deal with the bank to do that, or a third party, and they take a fee on every payroll that's happening. They go around $1, $2 per employee, but if you add up all the employees that they deal with, they make thousands and thousands a month just by payrolls. And if we can do that for FCF, that is a big game changer.
There's a lot of things here that could save money here. Even a merchant having to pay, 1.5% or 2% for a credit card going through, and choosing FCF Pay to save on that merchant fee. There's a lot of money to be saved here to use it. So there's big incentives, I feel like.
Exactly.
So Tyler Priest was my brother. He's the one who was trying to ask that, and he got kicked for washing the dishes in the background. He owns a payroll company, and he just texted me. He's like, "Hey, we'll be the guinea pig for FCF Pay." So we got one.
Hey.
Oh, that's amazing. I did not kick him, by the way. I don't know who did.
I didn't kick him either. I made a comment about his dishes, but I didn't do any kicking.
And he texted me he wasn't washing dishes. It wasn't him, but I just wanted to throw him under the bus on the AMA. So.
Well, whoever it was multitasking, and I can appreciate a little multitasking, getting those dishes clean while you're learning a little bit about FCF Pay.
I think he was washing his laptop into the sink.
Yeah, here you go.
But yes, if he owns a company that does payroll, we can definitely get in touch and see how we can integrate his company with FCF Pay. That could be actually easier to do than creating a full payroll company, because that's not something very easy to do either.
Well, I'll say this: his payroll company focuses on the cannabis industry here in California.
Yo, you talking about me?
So the idea of being able to pay people through crypto, and possibly for these places that can't get bank accounts, but for them to be able to accept crypto payments at their dispensaries, is huge, huge business.
It is. So we could do that. Yes, that's a very good option, actually.
Man, the possibilities never seem to end here
It's
for sure.
endless. It's endless. And as much as I get excited every time we have a new idea, I'm like, oh wow, we need to hire even more people now.
Right.
And I was talking to SafeMoon yesterday, and they have like 5 programmers working. We got 4, and we're not even a fraction of their size. Our
Yeah, but
team
there's a
keeps
lot
on
of
growing. It's endless.
yeah, what you're building's pretty big. So it doesn't surprise me that you've got 80% of the developers that a big project like SafeMoon has, because what you're building is pretty big and frankly, I think complex. Maybe it's not as complex as I think it is, but I feel like it is.
It is complex, but we're
Yeah.
lucky we have very competent team members, and budget and funds are not an issue. So we can throw a lot of money, and money fixes all problems.
There you go. There you go.
And we've been doing that since the early days. We did not wait. We were paying from our own pocket. I spent a tremendous amount of money on creating FCF, and we keep on doing that.
Well, I can't wait till it pays off for you and all of us holders. Anybody that's dollar cost averaging and slowly getting themselves up the ranks, good for you. And I hope we're all rewarded with that at some point. Well, it has been good to talk to you. As always, this was a really, really informative AMA. I really feel like I've caught back up on everything that's going on here in FCF with French Fellas and everything that's going on in the future. This was really good. Next time I talk to you, I bet you're going to wow me again with something else that you're working on. But this one was extra special.
Thank you for hosting it.
Oh, no problem. Glad to be here. All right, everybody. I am Steven. I am the voice of DeFi. You can follow me on Twitter at voice of DeFi. Someday, I'll probably talk to you about this offline, but
I
we
just
should
want to
do
say
this on
something.
Twitter Spaces. Oh, go ahead.
Here's a good dip to buy. The whale that
Ooh.
keep on selling, he just sold 15,000, and people are buying it. It's a perfect time to get your FCF under 10 million market cap. That whale is gonna be out eventually, and without him selling, we can go up just like we did before. 2 days ago when we launched FCF Pay Beta, the marketing coming in with FCF Pay full launch next month will be huge, and this person will be out by then, and that's a good thing that will be happening for us. And I think the dip is almost eaten. So
Yeah,
just to
I can see
reassure
that.
everyone about that, that whale is selling FCF just like the other whale. I don't know why they do that, but the last whale that was selling FCF to buy his other project when it was crashing, and he was trying to counter the crashes by buying a lot. That whale is doing the same with another project. So he's not selling because of FCF or anything. He's selling to protect his other investment in another project.
So yeah, he's just doing it for whoever knows what personal reasons, but nothing to do with FCF itself.
Yeah, the fundamentals of FCF, they are the same. They did not change. Nothing is changing. The vision is the same. If the price dips, it's a good entry point. No one
For
is
sure.
panicking, guys.
Doesn't appear to be. No one's panicking. And hey, here's the thing. We know what's coming in the future. We just, spent an hour, a little longer than an hour now, talking about what's coming in the future. You got to be excited. And if that's the case, I don't really even pay attention to the chart except for buying opportunities for myself. Everybody do your own research, but it gives me, that's what the chart's for to me, is to look for buying opportunities, not as much as, oh, I get worried about it. Sometimes the market goes down, market goes up, market goes down. But if you know the team and the project, then you start getting excited about what's in the future.
It's a long-term hold. So if we drop to 500,000 market cap today, which is not going to happen, that's a great entry point because in a year we're going to be far bigger than that. So unless you're planning on selling your tokens, watching the chart is not healthy for you unless you want to buy. And if you want to buy, Watch the chart. If you want to sell, I don't know what to tell you, but you're gonna regret that.
If you want to sell big, I don't know. Talk to me. Yeah, I've heard of OTC sales where people just just trade with each other, but yeah, that keeps it off the chart. But anyway, all right. I'm not suggesting don't come into my DMs trying to sell me, because I know it'll be scams. So I shouldn't have said that. I'm going to get a lot of scam DMs. All right, guys, it has been great talking with you. Let's do this again, and whenever we do, I know I'll be surprised then too.
I'm just gonna warn the community about something.
Oh yeah.
People have been sharing Facebook saying that there's a contest airdrop or whatever. You just have to link your wallet to it. There's a fake FCF Facebook group. Please report it and do not link your wallet to it. I just shared it in the main chat. Do not fall from it.
So their lives are turning out pretty outstanding, stellar.
And the wallet that is selling is the same whale selling, guys.
Same one. Wow.
Yeah, he has different wallets. He's an early day whales that split his wallet at first because his wallet was so big. He was afraid that people would get afraid of it. And he's obviously selling from his second wallet now because he sold his first wallet.
Gotcha. Yeah. I've been a whale in some of those wallets and in some projects. It never ends up being a great project that I've been a big whale in. But yeah, sometimes you have like, oh no, I have 6% of the entire supply or something, and it seems like a bit much. All right.
Well, that's it for today, guys.
Yep, that is it for today. It has always been good to be able to speak with you guys. Like I said, maybe we should do this another time over in a. We ought to do a Twitter Spaces sometime. I always think that'll be fun. That would be
I
fun.
tried one a couple of weeks ago. We could retry one. I liked it, but I wasn't able to record it. Maybe I'm not smart enough to find the record button on Twitter. But maybe next time
You can get it. It's I'll talk to you about you offline of how to get it. But yeah, it is possible. So, and they're starting to add record buttons to some select accounts. But even if you don't have that yet, there is a way to record it. So maybe we can talk about that and see if we can get that figured out. I think that'd be a good way to talk about it and get some people that aren't even in your Telegram community to hear about everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, John, Steve from IF1 has been having them every week, and he's figuring out how to record them too. So maybe hit him up.
Yep,
we'll do that.
Yep, you just got to go to data in your settings, and it saves them. You have to request it, and it takes about 24 hours to get it. So you get it later, but it is possible to get. And then for the recordings, which you'll start getting, you may want to check on your FCF account on the FCF_BSC.
Yeah.
You may have gotten that recording button added by now. They're starting to add it to more and more accounts. And once they add that, it's as simple as can be. So yeah, we should try that again.
Okay, so we can try it next week then.
All right. Sounds good.